Hey, what's going on, folks? This is Quad B, formerly known as Bamboozled Black Baby Boomer. What's going on, folks? This is Quad B, known as Bamboozled Black Baby Boomer. And trying to figure out why my camera is not working over here. I am live, but for some reason my camera is not working. I'm not sure why that is, because I wanted to show you guys that I'm kind of, trying to get serious about, let me see. Okay, here I am right here. And now I want to turn the camera back on, but I don't see it on. Let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow. There we go. Okay. Okay, good. So anyway, I'm just here today I'm just here to talk about the 4th of July. Well, first of all, it is little over 2:16. It's 2:06 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday, July 4th, 2000. Wednesday, July 4th, 2018. And I am here to do a live stream and to just say hello. And the reason for the title is today is the 4th of July, which one Professor Black Truth likes to call the 4th of July. And I will link to a video that contains an essay he did and I will link to it in the description box. And I listened to the first few minutes of the one he just did. I think the one he just did. But last year about this time, I listened to one that was by him, where he talked about the 4th of July, and I listened to this essay in the car for the first time a year ago, and I felt some kind of conflicted. You gotta understand something. Yeah, we as Black people who were baby boomers, yeah, we went along and celebrated the 4th of July and this and that and Independence Day because, we see ourselves as part of the country. We fought for the damn country. We did everything to prove to the white majority that we were, despite the fact that, your group fucked our group over for a whole bunch of years, we can still live together and do what you do, like fight in the military and, become part of the system. And of course, Professor Black Truth's deal is we need to just dismantle it. With all due respect to Professor Black Truth, I don't know how you dismantle a system that is as militaristic and strong as, white supremacy. And the funny thing was, when I was growing up, white supremacy was not in our lexicon at that time. When I was growing up in the 70s and the 80s and whatnot, I didn't know anything about any freaking white supremacy. I just knew that in my environment, I was usually, the raisin in the glass of milk. I got used to it. Seriously, I just got used to it. That's why I have no trouble dealing with, folks of other races, including white. I don't have any problem dealing with Hispanics. I have no problem dealing with Asians, Indians, whatever. Hello, Mr. Thomas. Hello. How you doing? So anyway, I am here to just talk about talk about the conflict that me and a lot of people do feel. A lot of Black people feel. We were growing up And we basically, this is why I call myself in my first channel, Bamboozled Black Baby Boomer. Because I reached a certain age, was maybe 56, 57, and I realized something, that a lot of what I was taught may have been true, but there was a lot of shit that was left out. And for those of you who know, who've seen my videos, you know, I talk about being a raisin in a glass of milk. I talk about being a chocolate dropped into a vanilla coating. And you know, if you told me, well, damn, you're the whitest black man I know, I'd probably say, yeah, I probably am. And here's the thing. We live in this system. We've lived, grown, and breathed in this system. We swim in it like fish through water. And by the time folks like me came of age, well, by the time folks like me were born, the knuckleheads, the knucklehead European descended folks, for some reason, decided to stop physically kicking our asses. Now they do it, mentally and economically. Especially economically. Trust me, I know. If I'm angry about anything, it's the economics of this country that have really screwed folks. I feel like screwed folks like me over, and Gen Xers and millennials. And so please don't blame the baby boomers, at least the younger ones like myself. We had no idea what was going on in the 60s, to be perfectly honest. A lot of us didn't, So, hey, Clips, what's going on? Good, Kenny. I hope you had a good 4th of July too. So, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, I hear Professor Black Truth talking about that address that Frederick Douglass gave on the 4th of July, pretty much saying, when you wrote the Declaration of Independence, y'all wasn't thinking about us African folk, us descendants of slaves. Y'all wasn't thinking about that. Y'all definitely wasn't thinking about us. When the Constitution was written, oh, we're just 3/5 of a human being, each of us slaves, And he talks about holidays as being cultural monuments, which is a good way of putting it. And he accuses white society of making a lot of these cultural monuments during the winter time, as opposed to, New Year's Day, which he spoke about New Year's Day as one holiday that we should be celebrating, not because it's the new year, but because it's the birth date of one scholar, John Henrik Clarke. I knew nothing about John Henrik Clarke growing up. Nothing. School system didn't teach it, didn't learn about it in college. Oh, we learned about Martin Luther King. We might have gotten a little bit about Malcolm X, whose birthday is May 19th, and we should celebrate that as well. But I had no jack about John Henrik Clarke. I had to go back and look at one of his videos where he talked about you have no friends. And these were all scholars, though. And there's nothing wrong with being a scholar. But where are the black people who, dare to who dare to, upend the economic order? Where are the black people who make sure that black men are economically empowered? And if I ever find out who Professor Black Truth is, I know what he's doing. I know he's doing good work. I know he speaks his mind about a lot of stuff. But if I ever find out who he is, I might say, hey, we should make his birthday a holiday as well. We should, and Jason Black too. 7 a.m. for me was a watershed moment in my life. That documentary he made about why black people are the poorest people on the planet. Oh my goodness, man. Why he why he talked about Madam C.J. Walker. in that video, he talked about the Negro baseball leagues and the decline of the Negro baseball, how black men owned and operated baseball teams because black people couldn't play in the so-called major leagues. Don't ever tell me the 1927 Yankees were the best baseball team ever. You can tell me they were the best baseball team in the context of the major leagues, but you had a significant portion of the population that couldn't play in that league, and they had to play in their own leagues. Come to think of it, and I love. Here's the thing: I grew up loving the game of baseball. I played it. Had I known that, well, let's go back. I was 14 and I was on a youth league team where I was a catcher, and I kind of sucked at it. You know, a lot of balls got away from me, couldn't throw out any runners at second base trying to steal. One time I went to the mound without calling time to talk to the pitcher, and the man was on third and scored. I used to let a lot of third strikes. There's a rule in baseball where if the catcher drops a third strike, either swinging or called third strike, the batter can take off and run to first base and try to make it safely. And that happened to me a lot. And a lot of those strikeouts became runs for the other team. And I say all this to say about baseball, had I known personally that if catching was the fastest way to the big show, because catching is an important position, it's very physically demanding and all that good crap, I'd have worked harder on my game. And by this time, I might have been a manager or maybe part owner of a baseball team. But I go back to the Negro Leagues as referenced in Jason Black's video. The Negro Leagues drew, like, for example, in Washington, D.C., I can't remember the name of the team that was in Washington, D.C., but the old Griffith Stadium, the Negro League team would draw bigger crowds than the Washington Senators of the major leagues. And if you ever go into Howard University Hospital and go to a certain spot on the first floor in front of some elevators, you will see the outline of where home plate was in the old Griffith Stadium, because they tore that down and they built the hospital on Howard's campus. And of course, there's another little piece of history. This guy Griffith, who owned the Washington Senators, who moved the team to Minnesota, and they became the Minnesota Twins. He basically told the Chamber of Commerce, well, the reason I moved to Minnesota was there too many black people in Washington, not as many here in Minnesota. Go figure. All right. But so anyway, yeah, and another thing about baseball, the Negro Leagues, they had an all-star game for a number of years. I can't remember when. They had an all-star game in Chicago, the old Comiskey Park on the south side. It was like today's NBA weekend, NBA All-Star weekend without all the debauchery, okay? NBA All-Star weekend is a trip. I've been to a few of them through a hookup, through a friend's hookup. A friend of mine had a brother who was the executive director of the NBA Players Association. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it offline. But anyway, going back to the Negro League All-Star game, anybody black who was anybody was at that game. Folks that dressed up in their Sunday best and da-da-da-da. And the sad thing about baseball is that the popularity among black people, mainly descendants of slaves, has waned markedly. You know, black people young black kids today grow up playing football and basketball. But when we were growing up, we played baseball like mad every day. But then somewhere along the way, it left. But fortunately, you still have some baseball players. You do have some baseball players who are African American, who are Black American born. Currently, you have guys like, Andrew McCutchen, longtime Pittsburgh Pirate who played for who now plays for the San Francisco Giants, and a couple of guys who played for my hometown team, the Philadelphia Phillies, a team with a very ugly racist history. Look up how their manager, Ben Chapman, treated Jackie Robinson when Jackie Robinson broke in. But you had two black players. You had Jimmy Rollins from out of the Bay Area playing shortstop for the Phillies. And then you had Ryan Howard, dude from St. Louis, playing first base. And those two guys formed the core of a team that won World Series, contended several years in the late 2000s and won a World Series in 2008. Look it up. But unfortunately, you don't see too many blacks playing baseball. But I bring up baseball because I appreciated Jason Black bringing up the Negro Leagues in his documentary. I thought that was just wonderful. And if maybe Jason Black's birthday should be a holiday for us too. But yeah, but I can't be the only black person who feels conflicted on a day like this of my age. Now, if you're a little younger and you were told the real deal by somebody in your family or somebody you know, great. But some of us went through life kind of asleep and now we're just waking up. And that's not to say that I hate white folks. I don't. I grew up with them on an individual level. They're really some of the nicest people. But on historical, collective level, the record ain't that good. The record is not good at all. Let me see who's on the chat. Hey, Cher, how you doing? Most Negroes don't want to be economically empowered. Okay, so Gen X dropped the ball. 1927 Yankees. Yeah, Kenneth. I see you are a basketball referee, and yes, being a baseball umpire is tough. It really the toughest part is being a home plate umpire, where you have to call balls and strikes. You have to judge whether a pitch coming, being delivered by the pitcher at 100 miles and upwards of 90 to 100 miles an hour, did it cross into a certain geographical area in the batters over home plate that would make it a ball or a strike? And that's why these are judgment calls. And this is why players who argue balls and strikes get tossed out of games much quicker than, something like with somebody out or safe and on the base path. So I see your point. But the conflict is really bad. I remember we used to march in parades. I still have fireworks. I went out and bought fireworks yesterday, but not yesterday, last year. I still have some left over from last year that I plan to use tonight. But the 4th of July, that's a good quote. That's good because it dovetails very well with how I feel these days, bamboozled by a lot of crap that we were never really taught about our history. And yeah, European history is fine and everything. I don't have an issue with that, but we could have learned about other things too. But I figured the Prussian public school system only wants to teach you so much. Hell, they don't even want to teach you about entrepreneurship or business ownership. They don't want to even teach you trades. I've done videos about that. They don't want to, it's like they don't want to teach you anything that will make you empowered economically. I looked at the overall curriculum standards for public schools in the state of New Jersey, from whence I come. Okay? From whence I come. And what I found out was you've got all kinds of, hours devoted to all these different subjects and whatnot. But guess what? You've got a tiny amount, maybe an hour or two of, a curriculum hour or two or a semester hour devoted to entrepreneurship. This is statewide. And I thought that was a friggin' travesty. Now, if Quad B had his way, we'd be teaching kids about entrepreneurship. We'd be teaching kids about handling money. We'd be teaching kids about handling credit. We'd be teaching kids about the stock market. That would be me. One time I even told my nephews, if I were a teacher, I'd teach everything begins and ends with economics. My idea of a great field trip is to take my students would be to take my students to a supermarket. Yes, a supermarket. Why? To show you how everything is laid out, how all the healthy stuff is stuff you have to walk to edge it to the fresh, healthy stuff. You've got to walk farther away from the entrance to get to, whereas all the processed crap is on the aisles, and you have to walk by the processed crap to get to the healthy crap. And of course, supermarkets do operate on razor thin margins, but still, this is the kind of stuff I would be telling my students. I'd be showing my students. Okay. Yeah. But as far as as Independence Day, and I know, Professor Black Truth as an ideal talks about dismantling white supremacy. What do you replace it with? I don't know what you replace it with. I am of the opinion that perhaps we would do well to just work within the system and try to change it from within, which is what I've tried to do. I tried to do some my whole life, because I was aware of who I was. I was aware of our history as far as, being slaves and whatnot. But I also know that the best you can do is to work within a system and change attitudes one individual at a time. That's all you can really do. And yeah, I do plan to celebrate John Henrik Clarke's birthday on the 1st. I will do so. I want to see who he was. I know he was a scholar. I don't know too much more about that, but I will do some research. So you can look for a video on John Henrik Clarke on New Year's Day from me. And maybe I can find some of his family or somebody. Just what I want to know, what made him tick. That's just the thing. What makes a person tick? And I wanted to find out what made that brother tick, So but I definitely, and I'm going to say this too. The reason that John Henrik Clarke's birthday is so easy to remember is because it is January 1st. And you had Professor Black Truth saying something to the effect of, yeah, that's because this society is so ass backwards. They want to celebrate New Year's Day during the dead of physical winter because of the Gregorian calendar, which he called satanic and all that. Okay, I'm not even going to go there. This is the calendar we use, and that's it is what it is. It is what it is. I had something else on my brain. Okay, nobody else is around. Okay, so I know that Kendra D is over on another channel talking about the 4th of July too. And by the way, another thing, another person who doesn't know who agrees with me on changing the system from within. There's a gentleman in the Black manosphere who shows up. He's not a content creator per se, but he's on a lot of hangouts. Charles Faulkner, a police officer in the city of Baltimore. Hey, Instant Ride Play. Hello, how are you doing? So here's the deal. Here's the deal with what Officer Charles said. He said that if Black folks have an issue with the police departments in their cities being like, occupying forces, then join the police department and change it from within. And I'm hearing this and going, yes, that's what we should be doing. We're here. This fucking country is ours. I know there are other immigrants who have their own home countries and whatnot. What you're looking at right here is a uniquely American creation. We descendants of slaves are uniquely American creations. So should we celebrate the 4th of July or the 4th of July? That's up to you. That is up to you as an individual. But just know, if you're going to do that, balance it out with something else. Balance it out with knowing who you are. Balance it out with knowing your history. Balance it out with knowing that this is our country, damn it. This is how I look at it. Okay, you designed it. Yeah, we'll give you that. But we fucking built it. That's right. You may have designed it with the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and whatnot. Yeah, but we built it. We built it economically. We helped you build it. Wasn't no plantation owners picking cotton. We did it. So can we agree on that? I've been wanting to say that for the longest time. And see, the problem in this country is this culture is like the people who design shit, they're the ones that get all the love. But the people who actually do the grunt work, the real work of putting shit together, they don't get, they're like, who cares? So, yeah, we'll give you that. You designed it, we built it. So it was a team effort, whether you want to see it or that way or not. So as somebody who was born here, I was born in New York, raised near Philadelphia, and went to school here at a predominantly white school in South Carolina, of all places, where the Civil War jumped off. Yeah, see, that's the logo of the Gamecocks of the University of South Carolina. And I do appreciate that South Carolina doesn't use any Confederate imagery in its logos or whatnot. It's just a bird, see? It's just a bird with it in the letter C. Yeah, I went there. I had a decent time there. Yeah, there was some racist motherfuckers there, but they weren't gonna say anything to you like they would probably try to do today. But what else was I going to say? I'm just going off here. But yeah, I do sometimes feel conflicted about celebrating the 4th of July or observing. I don't celebrate. I'll just observe. Okay, today it's a day off from work. But I did appreciate Professor Black Truth's opening my eyes just a little bit more, you know? So, as you can see also, what else was I going to say? Oh, and by the way, had I not been accepted to South Carolina in the late 70s, my second choice was an HBCU, which would have been North Carolina. Oh my God, what was it? The one in Greensboro. North Carolina A&T, North Carolina Agricultural and Technical University in Greensboro, North Carolina. Had I not been accepted here, the NCA&T would have been my second choice. And the reason I went to South Carolina was just, it was more geographical. Wanted to get away from New Jersey, wanted to live in the South. My mom's family was within an hour. So, you know, it was just a different thing altogether. And it was a little bit cheaper actually than going to school up in Jersey. So, and I got my degree, and so I still, every now and then, unfortunately I didn't make a whole lot of enough money to be this big donor to the Alumni Association, but I still, go to football games and whatnot down there. And I still like going to South Carolina. And the one thing I will say that we still have, my grandfather who lived down there left a legacy of a lot of land, and I do really appreciate that. So that's what really made me decide that I wanted to try to do something to economically empower myself and my family. And maybe if I have grandkids or great grandkids, they'll look at this man's picture or look at this video and say, wow, he really did something for us. So who else is in the chat? Did my friend? Oh, go. Oh, you did. Oh, here. Oh, and here's the funny thing. Instant ride play. The message is being held for review because you used the word Cox, if short for Gamecocks. So I'm going to approve this. There you go. Did my freshman year at USC. Go Cox. Where did you go? Did you go out? Did you go anywhere else? If you only did your freshman year there. In Columbia? Okay. I don't know. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm just sort of yeah, let me know where you went. Oh, you did go to Columbia. What year? See, I like to tell people it was funny too. I was wearing this shirt on the train and some white dude just came and touched the little logo and I'm like, huh? Oh, I went to South Carolina too. I'm like, oh, okay. And he said he went in the 90s or something. And I'm like, dude, next time don't touch a person. That's not a good idea. And I told him, well, like I tell a lot of people, I carbon date back to the George Rogers era. I went to Carolina from 77 to 81. And during that time, a running back named George Rogers, who played for the football team, won the Heisman Trophy. He played for the New Orleans Saints and here in DC for the Washington Redskins. 89 to 90. Oh, you left to join the Air Force. 89 to 90. Wow. I was long, I was long gone by then. I was long gone by then. But also, as you can see, you might notice a difference in the video quality. I'm looking at the live chat on YouTube, and it looks great. I've got lights, folks. I've got a key light over here, the main light. I've got a background back here, and then I've got what's called the fill, which has a piece of cloth, a white muslin cloth or whatever, on top of the lighting. And I'm looking it looks great. I am happy as heck because I'm in an apartment that it doesn't get much really good light, and the fixtures here are cheap. You know how it is when you go into corporate rental housing, they cut corners all over the place but still want to charge you top dollar, for rent. And so I got some lighting, and I also have a green screen. I'll be experimenting with that. And yeah, man, I am really happy to see how how great this thing looks. Oh my God. Instant ride play. Graduated from Southern Illinois University at Carbondale. Congratulations. When you left to join the Air Force, you were enlisted, I take it? I have my own story about the Air Force, but I'm not going to tell it here. I was looking to get into the Air Force. See, like I said, we wanted to show ourselves as patriotic, and but yet we go away to war, we come back, and then we're lynched for wearing the uniform. What kind of bullshit is that? People were fucking stupid back. Well, they're stupid today, but these people, they were freer to act on their stupidity back then. Yeah, let somebody try to lynch my family today. You will be eating. You may do us. Oh, here's an insect. Insects like light too, right? So you may do something to us, but trust me, we will inflict major damage on you too. So I don't say this. I'm not trying to be violent, but I'm just saying what's on my mind. And for a long time, I didn't want to say what was on my mind because I was afraid of, employment. People may see this online. Oh, we don't want to hire this guy. He's too radical or whatever. And you know what? I'm to the point now where I just don't give a damn. You're going to respect me and I'm not going to sit and tap dance and coon and borderline coon and smile well, I mean, I'm going to do that, but the minute if you come at me sideways, we're going to have a conversation. I've had too many people in the past come at me sideways, but I was too fearful of saying anything back, you know. I shouldn't say too many, a few have come at me sideways over the years. So, instant ride play. Yes, you were enlisted and later got a commission as a naval officer. Cool. I have a person in my family close to me who was also a naval officer. She's recently retired. She was a JAG, Judge Advocate General, meaning she was a lawyer in the Navy, and now she's retired, but now working for the Navy in a civilian capacity. So she's doing quite well for herself. Let's see. Anybody want to get in on the chat here? Because I don't want to be the only one talking, but I'm really digging this video quality. Oh my God. A little bit of light makes a difference big time. Oh my goodness. It makes a difference. Yeah, Instant Ride Play says cool about this other person in the Navy. Oh, Angel, how are you? Now, I got to tell you, I'm going to be blunt. Angel and Mr. Kenneth, I'm part of a group where, I'm aligned with a group where a lot of the folks don't take too highly a view of you guys. I don't know. I know with one. Now, I don't know about with the other, but you can stay. But if I have mods, I don't have any mods here. And if a mod decides they want to kick you out, I'm going to let them do it because, frankly, I'm not trying to get involved in all that. But I just want to let y'all know, I don't have an issue. I do not personally have an issue with you, but there's some who do, and that's something y'all got to work out. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get into it here. But yeah, happy 4th, Angel. Yeah, happy 4th of July. Thank you. Or happy 4th of July. I love that title. I really do. But today is Independence Day, and they're probably doing all kinds of stuff. I'm sitting in Northern Virginia, about 25 miles west as the crow flies of Washington, D.C. And they'll have the fireworks and all that sort of stuff. And that's all well and good. But I know that like I said, there are probably a lot of Black people who are older, as if they've woken up, if they're woke, they're probably conflicted about a lot of stuff. They're conflicted. And I'm not going to lie. I'm conflicted about a lot of stuff, but I just do the best I can. I'm really doing what I have to do for my own family. I mean, I can't do anything. I can't do, if I could snap my finger like Thanos with all the Infinity Stones and totally improve the situation for 45 million Black people, including descendants of slaves, I'd do it. But I'm just one individual. And all I can do is take care of me, take care of my wife, make sure my children are okay. As I've said before, me and my wife, I feel like we've made valuable contributions to the Black community by giving the community 3 individuals, our children, who are productive members of this Black society and this overall society. My son does work with it does a lot of community work in a young person's auxiliary of the local Urban League. I know some folks probably see the Urban League as just one more vestige of the civil rights movement, but these youngsters who are millennials are doing their thing, and I watch my son do his thing. And my daughter out west doing her thing in the tech area, and my son, youngest one, who just graduated high school, and he's, believe it or not, he's going to be a vendor. He'll be an art vendor at a gaming convention in Boston. So guess who's going to Boston with him? Quad B. That should be fun. Of course, I'm not going to hang out. And speaking of baseball, if the Red Sox happen to be in town that weekend, I'm there. I'm there at Fenway Park, baby. I loves me some baseball. And let me tell you, if you ever visit Washington and you want to go to a sport, holler at me. We'll go. We can do Nationals, baseball. We can do the Redskins and football. Well, I don't like to call them the Redskins. I just shorten it to Skins. And we got the Wizards in basketball, and of course the hockey team. The hockey team. The Capitals won the Stanley Cup this year for the first time, so they're still geeked up over that. And but yeah, I am really loving this new setup. I really am. And all this lighting and equipment, the backgrounds, everything, 120 at that $120. Maybe I don't know if they can get them cheaper elsewhere, but I felt like I got a pretty good deal for $120, man. So anyway, okay, message retract. Oh, somebody retracted message. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you want to retract the message, that's fine. But as I said, just to bring it full circle, I just want to say if it is your thing to celebrate the 4th of July, American Independence Day, if you're a descendant of a slave, I'm not going to condemn you for it. If that's what you want to do that. If you don't want to, if you want to call it the 4th of July, you're free to do that. If you feel conflicted, that's okay. We feel certain ways based on where we came from. And life, we evolve. We do evolve. I'm evolving. We're all should be evolving and changing as human beings and as a society, individual human beings and as a society. So I'm not mad at you. I appreciate Jason Black for 7 a.m. I didn't get a chance to see Gentrified, and Race War should be interesting too. But I also would say that those guys, if once they pass, maybe their birthday should be holidays as well. But I do promise you, I will look into more about John Hendrik Clarke and his life and times, and do a video commemorating him on January 1st. And again, yeah, like I said, these guys were scholars, but I really want to know who were like Madam C.J. Walker, owners of in 7 a.m. There was Madam C.J. Walker, where actually Jason Black interviewed a journalist who was Madam C.J.'s great granddaughter, I think, Ms. Bundles. I can't remember her first name. But I also want to talk about the people who made it, the business people. For example, who are some of the business people in Tulsa when that so-called Black Wall Street got burned down in Tulsa? Those are the people, to me, who are the real heroes. I also think that we give a lot of ink and attention to W.E.B. Du Bois, and that's William Edward Brougham Du Bois. I think that's his name. I had to look that up for the first time recently. William Edward Brougham Du Bois is W.E.B. But I think we also need to give some, props to, oh goodness, Booker T. Washington. Now, granted, Booker T was like, we don't need to be trying. Booker T, see, a lot of people don't realize about Booker T. Washington. He knew that even though blacks were freed from the chains of slavery, we were not freed from being surrounded. We were like a bunch of antelope being surrounded by leopards and tigers and all that. We were still surrounded by enemies who wanted to kill us. And he recognized that. And that's why he said, look, We don't want to poke these people too much by asking all of them for all this like political crap. We need to just get together and build our own stuff economically. And that's where Tuskegee Institute came from. We've got to do that because, Booker T knew the real deal. He knew the real deal. That all these black people were like, how did I, cheat, we were wildebeest surrounded by cheetahs ready to jump on us at any moment. So that's why he said we should, and a lot of people, that's why he said that we should just do our own thing, not try to push these white folks. And a lot of people don't like that. It's like rolling. Oh, Booker T. Washington wanted us to roll over. But I'm starting to wonder, if we had followed Booker T. Washington's example, would we be more economically viable today? Would we be richer? Would we have that, as Jason Black and Professor Black Truth like to say, would we have that power, wealth, and influence today that would render structural and institutional racism moot? I don't know. But he's definitely, I think Booker T. Washington is definitely someone we should celebrate as well. Not just book. I was on the board of a journalist organization. You probably know what it is. That has that every year at their convention, they have a W.E.B. Du Bois dinner. Maybe, is there an organization out there that does a Booker T. Washington dinner or event during a annual gathering? If I don't know, if there is such an organization, tell me in the comment section below, and tell me what you think of what I'm saying. Am I on base, off base? Am I full of crap? Tell me. I'm not going to get mad at you. Everybody's got their own opinions based on where they came from and where they're at a certain point. That's why I don't get mad about differing opinions anymore. If you come at me with an opinion, I'm going to ask you why you feel this way. Why do you hold this? I'm not going to attack you. That's the journalist in me. I want to know why. And then we can have a conversation. I'm not trying to bring you over to my way of thinking. I'm just wanting you to understand. I want to understand things. So this is where I come from now. Yeah. Love you, Miss. Thank you, Angel. Appreciate it. I made a joke to a friend, said to him, I have a happy Fluff of July because his name is Fluffy. Okay. But anyway, I'm going to jump off of here. Thank you. I love this setup. I've been wanting to do this now for a while because I've been in this media thing for a long time. I wasn't part of black media. And here's the other thing, folks. There was plenty of us strong, masculine black men who were working within the constraints of white media. There were a lot of us in the 60s, mainly in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And you might want to read the Kerner Commission report on civil disorders, which came out in 1968, and look at the section about the media and the press. Look at that. That's what really got the ball rolling as far as getting black men and black women into the mainstream media. And I'm proud to have been part of that for a minute. I did my article. I did what, my editors told me to do, but then there were other stories I came up with that tried to empower black people. And I think my very presence may have caused the person to say, hey, if that brother there can do this, maybe I can do that. So, but it's a complicated issue. It's very complicated. It can't be boiled down to sound bites or whatever, but that's why I'm here. I'm here to provide you some perspective. Hey, Tiona, what's up? Happy 4th of July to you, too. How you doing? Thank you for joining the chat. We got 4 people watching. Oh, by the way, And I'm going to ask you, I'm going to tell you today, well, actually Sunday, July 1st, started a new subscriber drive. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs and some watch time, because I'm not going to lie. I'd like some of this YouTube money, even if it's not much. I would like some of it. I'm not going to lie. You know, like the bear who grabs who's at the, he's okay. You got all this salmon that are spawning that are trying to go against the stream to spawn, and then there's the grizzly bear that grabs up just one fish and eats it, and he's good. That's how I feel about YouTube. There's all this money flowing by, and I just want to grab a little bit of it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking to do a subscriber drive, and I'm looking to do that, and I'm looking to hopefully get 1,000 subscribers by December 31st, and then we really can celebrate John Henrik Clarke's birthday on January 1st of 2019. But yeah, so I'm doing that. And in the meantime, if you feel so inclined, there are a couple links in the description box below where you can, donate to the channel to help defray the expenses I put into making this channel better for y'all. I am just really, really happy to see. I just cannot get over the quality that of that a little bit of lighting makes. So I can't wait to experiment with the green screen, man. I can't wait to do that. But anyway, yeah, me too. Okay. And let's see what else. I think that's pretty much it. So I know some of y'all might be out and about doing whatever, and you might catch this video on the upload, on the replay or whatever. So let me know what you think in the comment section of anything I've said in this live stream, which is going on about almost an hour now. Just know I appreciate all y'all. I looked and I saw I had 214 subscribers. Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you very much. I do appreciate everything. I do appreciate you following me. I appreciate those who've commented. I appreciate those who've shown support. And some of you know who I really am. And I used to work named Quad B on YouTube, but a lot of you know my real name, and I really don't care if you know my real name or not. If you want to call me Leroy, fine. I don't care. I'm I'm tired of hiding. I'm not going to hide who I am and what I feel and what I think and what we should do, as long as we are separated by skin color and culture and all that. It is what it is. I just hope to leave this world just slightly a little better when I leave out of here, and I don't know when that's going to be. So far, 58 years, a few months and counting. 58 and a half years and a few weeks and counting. So anyway, that's about it. You guys take care. Enjoy whatever it is you're doing, whether you're cooking out or just chilling. It's hot as hell here in the DC area. It's like well into the 90s. I think it broke 100 yesterday. But that's okay. I'd much rather live in a hot. Hey, that's where we came from. We came from the tropical climate, man. West Africa. I'd much rather deal with heat than cold any day. I hate cold. I hate it. I hate it. And I hate it. I hate snow. I hate ice. I hate cold. I hate frigid temperatures. I hate it. Why I probably don't watch the Winter Olympics a whole lot. I'm not. I tried to ski once while we were in Colorado, once or twice. I actually found out something about skiing. It's easier to ski when snow is falling and creating a natural powder. You get more control that way. Skiing on a sunny day is a bitch, because all it does is melt the snow and pack it down, and it's almost like ice. That's a whole nother thing. I don't know how I got to talking about skiing all of a sudden. Oh, because of winter. But anyway, I much prefer warm weather. So anywho, that's about it. You guys take care. And again, if you like, please share, and subscribe, and 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 click on that bell so that when Quad B uploads new content, you will be notified. So until next time, this is Quad B, formerly Bamboozled Black Baby Boomer, saying peace and deuces and God bless, and we will catch y'all later.